Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm filming a kind of highly requested video. I'm going to be showing you kind of like my most gourmand, most smell like a snack type of perfumes that I have in my collection. Obviously, you guys know that this is like my favorite, or at least one of my favorite categories of perfumes. I love to smell sweet and edible, and I always get compliments with all of these perfumes because these are just kind of those perfumes where you walk by and you literally leave this delicious scent trail with you. And it's kind of like more oftentimes than not, somebody will come up to you and ask you like, what the heck do you have on? I feel like this is kind of like the most fitting time to make this type of video because it's fall and winter time, so it's a little bit chillier outside. I say as it's literally 84 degrees outside and it's middle of November, but these type of more warm gourmand perfumes are gonna be so perfect because it kind of just gives this like cozy feeling on top of like the cold, and it's like my favorite thing ever. I just wish that we were actually experiencing cold outside instead of 90-degree weather. So I have here a top 15, give or take. I'm not even gonna bother doing top 10 videos anymore because I literally can't. I can never just pick 10. Also, just a brief little update. I am in my new place, which literally does not look like it at all because my background pretty much looks exactly the same. That's because, I mean, it is. I will, though, be having different locations because now I have a whole room to myself. This is like my beauty room. Like, this is where I get ready and everything. I've always dreamed to have basically like my own space, so I basically have like my own little office and area where I can do all of this now, so I'm very excited. As I start to kind of decorate and buy some new furniture, you guys are going to be seeing multiple backgrounds. I know I've been getting a lot of requests for makeup videos, and those will also be coming because now that I have this room, I kind of have more space to just do all of this stuff, so I'm really excited to bring you guys some like makeup tutorials, like get ready with me, things like that. I really want to expand my channel. I of course will always make perfume videos, but I do want to sprinkle in some other videos that do get requested, and I also just want to do because I have a huge love of makeup. With that being said, I'm sorry for the rambling, but if you come to this channel, you already know it comes with the territory. You can skip to this timestamp if you want to just get straight into the video, but if you are wondering about my lip combo, I basically always get comments asking me what lip combo I'm wearing in pretty much like almost all my videos. Sometimes I don't even remember, and I'll go back to watch a video of mine and I'm like, what was I wearing? Because I really like that combo. So today I have this little juicy combo right here. So the lip liner I'm wearing is the NYX lip liner in the mauve shade, and then I'm wearing the MAC lipstick in Mare, and then topped off, this has been like my new favorite lip gloss. You can't even tell really, like it doesn't do it justice on camera, but it is the most like iridescent pink with like green, blue, gold glitters all throughout it, and it just shines on your lips. And I don't know if the camera's really picking up on that, but it's the MAC Dazzle Glass, and it's in the shade Money Honey. So that is my lip combo, and now let's get into this video. So before we get into it, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and turn your post notifications on, and if you guys want to be smelling like a snack, then just keep watching. Perfume number 1, in no particular order, I'm gonna start off with this. So I've talked about this a few times on my channel, so you guys already know how much I love this. It doesn't really seem like I've used it that much. That's because I've been using the OG of this for a while. So this is the Skylar Vanilla Sky, and what I mean by OG is these used to actually be in a different bottle. The bottle used to look like this right here, so that's what I had. It's the exact same perfume, but they did kind of like a whole rebrand, and then their perfumes basically started to all look like this. Another thing that they changed is that all of their perfumes used to be eau de toilette, the ones that came in this bottle, and now they are all eau de parfums, meaning that they just last a lot longer. This video is not sponsored, by the way. I know I've worked with them in the past because I genuinely love them, but this video is not sponsored. This is like the epitome of a warm, cozy, sweet, delicious vanilla scent, and it's not just your regular vanilla scent. This also has a cappuccino note in it. This literally smells like you're in a cafe, you're doing your work, it's maybe like drizzling outside. The cafe has like these like twinkling lights, and it's just like this nice cozy vibe with that like sweet coffee aroma in the air. That's literally what this perfume smells like. It's probably the coziest perfume out of this whole bunch. This is a perfume to wear if you're gonna watch like a nice cozy movie, you're cuddled up into your blankets, like a day in type of thing, but you could also wear it out. It's also just one of the most edible out of this whole bunch because you get, oh my god, it smells so good. You get so many delicious notes in here. Like, you do get that cappuccino, so you do have this like sweet, delicious coffee, like very creamy, milky. And then you also get a little bit of cinnamon in here, which I typically don't love the note of cinnamon, especially like in perfumes. But in here, it's maybe adding like a tiny bit of like this spice element, but it's not a spicy perfume. It's not that spicy at all. It's more than anything just a sweet cappuccino drizzled with like caramel. And vanilla, obviously. That is Skylar Vanilla Sky. The next perfume is actually going to be two perfumes, but I'm going to talk about them as if they are one because they smell really similar. It's just kind of two different price points. So the next perfume that I have is Sol by Sol de Janeiro. It's more kind of advertised as a summer scent because mixed in with that gourmand sweet edible feel that it also has this bit of tropical vibe to it. I have no idea what really is giving off that tropical vibe because if you actually look at the notes, there's no like coconut notes or any type of like solar notes or anything like that that would give this like an actual tropical vibe. I guess the only note that would give off that is the salt. It's just something about the mixture that kind of gives it this tropical summer feel about it. But it's also equally so edible and gourmand because this has pistachio, almond, caramel, vanilla, obviously. This is an addicting scent and it is probably one of the most complimented scents out of this whole bunch. There's something about this where like everyone and their mother compliments this perfume. This and the body spray obviously are like some of the most popular scents, I feel like, and I know everybody pretty much knows about these scents already, but I do have a little bit of an alternative that sort of smells similar. It's definitely in the same vibe, so that's why I'm not including this as a whole different perfume, but this is a little bit cheaper, at least if you can find it in discount stores, which is where I found mine. I'm not really sure how much this is going for if you actually were to look at this online. I'm gonna try to see what the cheapest price that I could find of this is, and I will link that in the description. This is Laura Mercier Eau Gourmand, and it is called Ambre Vanille. This perfume, it's definitely in the same vibe. There is something different about it though. And I guess what makes these kind of similar is the fact that they both have almond notes in them, so they're both like this creamy vibe. This one also has a little bit of that tropical element into it. And this one actually has a coconut note. So I guess that would be what would give that vibe into here. But it's not your typical beachy coconut, to be honest. It's more of like a lactonic, creamy, milky, like sweet gourmand coconut, if that makes sense. It is once again just a really sweet and comforting scent. It kind of just envelops you. One thing that I don't understand about this though is the fact that it's called Ambre Vanille and it has neither vanilla or amber in it, so I'm not really sure why she didn't call it like almond coconut or something like that, because yeah, there's neither of those notes in this perfume. But I guess I kind of pick up on like this ambery vanilla scent in here also, so maybe they're in here, but they're just like not listed or something like that. So these are very similar. I don't really pick up on like major differences between these two. So that's why I'm showing them as one. And this one, because it has been discontinued for a while, you can find it for a lot cheaper than this one. But the Sol also isn't that expensive. I think it's like $60 or $70, which I know is definitely not cheap, but compared to like your regular designer, which could go for like 120 plus, it is, I guess, cheaper. Okay. Oh my god. The next perfume I have is probably one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful perfume out of this entire roundup of perfumes that I have to show you, and honestly probably my most intense perfume that I have of my entire perfume collection, which you guys see is kind of extensive. So that definitely tells you something, and that is Scandale by Jean Paul Gaultier. I feel like I don't even need to look at the notes of this perfume because there is one note that just dominates over everything else in this perfume that I can smell, and I feel like I could smell that note without even having to know that there's that note in here. Like, I feel like even if somebody smelled this and they had no idea about notes and what they were, if they smelled this perfume, they would straight up say this smells like honey. It is just a honey bomb. It is one of the most delectable, most decadent, most sweet, most gourmand, most thick perfumes that I have. Like, this will give you some sillage. Literally, the aliens living up in Mars could smell you when you have this on. It is that strong, which is why with this perfume, I always say, do not put more than 2 sprays of this on. Like, literally, one like this and one like that. that's all you need. You're gonna be smelling like it for the next 35 years. You will literally have to like scrub your body in the shower like hard to get this off. That's how strong this is. It is a major gourmand scent. Basically, it's like pure, sweet, sticky, thick honey, and that's pretty much it. It does have like some other notes in it, like jasmine, which I can kind of pick up on all the other notes. It's not just like your basic honey scent. It is like an intricate honey scent, but I promise you when you smell this, you're gonna go like, oh my god, that smells like honey. You gotta be the truest of the truest of the truest gourmand lover to enjoy this scent, because it is probably the absolute sweetest scent out of this whole bunch. But with that being said, it is super sexy, and if it works with your body chemistry, you are going to get a trillion compliments on this. It is a really nice signature scent just because you put this on and like you're gonna be smelling like it for eternity. Like this will just become you. That's how strong it is. Out of the whole note list of this perfume, the ones that I can kind of pinpoint the most when I smell this are obviously the honey, the beeswax, caramel for sure, and a little bit of orange blossom, and maybe a little bit of that licorice vibe that it has. It does also have patchouli, so maybe that is why it lasts for 300 plus years. But I personally don't really smell the patchouli in here, which for me, as you all know, is a plus. Alright, the next perfume is Eilish by Billie Eilish. I've been talking about this a few times recently because truly I've been wearing this so much. I don't even care that it's 90 degrees outside. I'm still wearing this because this is such a cozy, sweet, and honestly so sexy perfume. It is so delicious. You will smell like a walking snack, and honestly kind of like a walking candle, which sounds kind of bad because like why would you want to smell like a candle? But at the same time, candles smell amazing, so like why wouldn't you want to smell like a candle? But it does give me candle vibes for sure, like a sweet vanilla, rich, gourmand candle. This not only obviously has vanilla in it, which is definitely the major part of this and what I can smell the most, but it also has a lot of spices in it, which makes this very intricate. Like it's definitely a complex vanilla, but it's a very sweet vanilla. Mixed in with that vanilla, you get cacao, which just strengthens the sweetness of this even more. You get amber in here, you get tonka beans, so I mean like what more do you want? If you are a gourmand lover and you don't have Eilish, what are you waiting for? And I know that some people for whatever reason don't like this scent. I don't understand it. I don't know why, because this is so good. I get trillions of compliments whenever I wear this. Like so many compliments from like family members, from people that don't even like sweet scents, but like when they smell this, they're like, oh, like something smells really good. So this is definitely a major love of mine right now for this time of year. Honestly, I would wear this all year round, but especially for this time of year, this is like a warm hug. Okay, so as per usual in my videos, I gotta sprinkle in some more affordable options. And this is the least expensive perfume out of this entire video. This is Vanille by Soli Notes. This is, I believe, a Target exclusive. So Soli Notes, the reason why they're called Soli Notes is because they are like singular note perfumes, and you're basically meant to like pair them together and kind of create your own perfumes with like the notes that you like best. So I have a few of these sprinkled into my collection, but this one right here, although the only note that is listed in here is vanilla, this, I mean, obviously it smells like vanilla, but it is so gourmand. It literally smells like vanilla ice cream to me, like just a big bowl of vanilla ice cream, almost like you walked into those like ice cream shops, or like, you know, when you're walking around Disney, that like delicious scent that's in the air, or like the pastry shops in Disney. That's what this smells like to me. It is so edible and literally like vanilla ice cream. I used to work at Target a couple years back, and I used to always spray this because it was out as the testers. So every time I worked in that area, I would just pick this up, spray it all over, and wherever I went, like random customers would be complimenting me on this, or I could even hear them like talking amongst themselves saying like, oh my god, something smells like cookies around here, but like little did they know, it was just little old me. If you want to smell like cookies, like vanilla ice cream, that is this perfume, and it's literally 20 bucks. The next perfume I have to share with you guys, this is for those of you that you love dulce de leche, caramel goodness. This is the perfume for you, and it is so sexy. Like, oh my god, you are gonna be smelling like a sexy woman. This is like your date night perfume. This is the perfect perfume to win a man, basically. This is Azaro Wanted Girl. And basically kind of the keynote of this perfume is dulce de leche. So it is literally creamy, sticky, delicious caramel goodness. Caramel ice cream. Dulce de leche, basically, but like ice cream. I would say that's kind of like the main note that I can pick up in here. Obviously, there's other notes added into here, but I would say the dulce de leche mixed with like the tonka bean a little bit is kind of like the main parts of this perfume. It's so good, but it's also just not that simple. Like, it's definitely complex in the sense that, you know, you do get a little bit of the orange blossom, you get a little bit of that pomegranate, you get a little bit of that patchouli, but like in the best dose. It's like the perfect amount of like this little hint of green in it where it's not like super sickly sweet. If you want to be delicious dulce de leche smelling, Azaro Wanted Girl is the perfume for you. The next perfume is Princess by Kilian, otherwise known as I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess. So this perfume used to look very different. It used to come in like this round little like ball looking bottle, and then the bottom have the name of it, but now it's just in like your regular Kilian sort of packaging. I fell in love with this the first time I ever smelled it. I smelled a little tester of it at a Sephora when it used to be in the original bottle, and I fell head over heels and I wanted to buy it right then and there, but they didn't have it in stock. And after that point, it was literally not in stock for like a year. Like, I'm telling you, it was out of stock online. It was nowhere to be found in any stores. I just couldn't get my hands on this, and then randomly one day it came back in stock. I'm not sure if it's still in stock. If it is, it will definitely be linked down below. But this is marshmallow deliciousness, but also marshmallow done in a very complex way where it doesn't smell juvenile, because you would think that that would be a really juvenile note. But in here, it smells sexy. It smells grown. It smells seductive. It smells alluring. This perfume is so addicting. So it's like marshmallow, vanilla, very gourmand, but it's also got this tiny bit of spice in it because it does have ginger. It has green tea, which is really weird. I don't really smell that in here. It does have jasmine in it also, so it has a touch of floralness to it, but like, might as well not even have that because I barely really even smell it. It just smells like a gourmand dream. It kind of has like this powdery vibe to it, again because of those marshmallows. It's almost like marshmallow powder. I don't see why anybody that's a gourmand lover would not like this fragrance, because to me it just smells so addicting. And this next perfume, it's definitely one that you're gonna want to wear in like the dead of winter when it's super cold outside. I do not recommend wearing this in the heat. And I'm never really one to say like wear this perfume in this season or whatever, because I will smell like whatever I want to smell whenever I want to smell like it. Like I don't care about like seasons and perfumes, but this perfume is so thick that it doesn't do well in the heat. The heat just kind of like makes it nauseating, whereas the cold kind of makes it more cozy and warm and sexy and inviting. So that perfume is Hypnotic Poison by Dior. Believe it or not, although this literally smells like the most intense perfume ever, it's actually an eau de toilette. Now, I only recommend the eau de toilette, and based off of what I've heard, everybody always talks about the eau de toilette. I actually have not really even heard many people talking about the EDP, because I cannot imagine this perfume smelling any more intense than it is. I feel like if it was, it would literally make me like throw up, because it is so strong. Some people say that this smells like Play-Doh, which yeah, I kind of get that vibe, and I'm still not turned off by it, because oddly enough, I was one of those weird kids growing up where I actually really liked the smell of Play-Doh. Now, you're not gonna smell like Play-Doh wearing this, okay? Like, relax. But when I kind of smell it out the bottle, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get a little hint of Play-Doh in here, but it's a lot more than that. Like, this smells like one of those like amaretto cookies, like very sweet. It is super gourmand. It has pistachio in it. It has Brazilian rosewood, almond. Actually, it doesn't have pistachio. It has almond, my bad. And then you get vanilla. You get coconut in here, which is so weird because this is more of like a wintry perfume, but the coconut doesn't really smell like coconut in here. It's just adding kind of like a level of thick creaminess, which gives this a lot of depth. Other than that, I don't smell any like hint of like an actual coconut note in here. I feel like the name Hypnotic Poison is very, very fitting for this because it is a very hypnotizing scent. It's very alluring, and it kind of like, it makes you addicted to the scent. Like when you smell this, you just want to keep smelling it because it's so good. There's something so inviting about it, yet super sexy and almost like dark and mysterious about it also. So I really recommend this, especially for the winter time, not really for like the warmer seasons, but for the winter time, you are going to be making everybody fall in love with you with this perfume. Next up, I have Girl of Now. I remember before I bought this, I wanted to get this so bad because being such a big Gourmand lover, everybody always described this as being like just one of the best Gourmand, delicious, sweet, delicious perfumes ever. And when I finally got it, I was obsessed because it's just that. If you love the scent of almonds, get this scent. In here you get almond milk, you get almond itself, you get pistachio, you get tonka bean. It's very creamy, it's very almondy, as I keep saying. Like that's definitely something you're gonna smell when you smell this. It like smells like almond milk. It really does, but like in a perfumey way, and very creamy, just very lactonic, and like kind of thick and almost sticky in a way. Like I almost smell like this caramel / honey note in here. Even though there isn't either of those notes in here, it kind of gives me that vibe. Also has orange blossom, which is kind of dominant in here, I would say, which kind of gives us like a hint of a floral note, but even that orange blossom still makes this smell really sweet. It's just that the florals just add like this bit of like sophistication to it, which makes it a little bit more sexy and not as like juvenile and young. Like you just know when you smell it that everyone's going to be complimenting you with, because it's one of those like addicting scents that everybody would love. If they smell the person like walking by, you'd probably like turn around and be like, oh my god, like what perfume are you wearing? Next up, I have two cheapies. So the first cheapie is Island Vanilla by Pacifica. I still have mine in the packaging because this is actually a brand new bottle of it. I got rid of mine because I'd used it about halfway, and the bad, it's kind of like a good and a bad thing with these perfumes is because Pacifica is one of those clean brands and they don't have that many like preservatives and things like that, they do go bad a lot quicker than your normal perfume would. So mine was like super dark, and it smelled off. So I got a new bottle because this perfume, although it is one of like the least expensive perfumes that I have in my collection, it is one of the best smelling and one of the best vanillas that I have in my entire collection. Like Island Vanilla is the perfect name for it because it smells like a tropical vanilla scent without having any sort of like coconut note or any like actual tropical notes in it. This has white honey, fruity notes, vanilla, tea, and jasmine. And that's it. I don't really get the jasmine in here. Like I don't really get any sort of floral aspect about this. I just get like an island vanilla scent, and that's about it. Wow, does it smell good. It's addicting. Like it literally is addicting. And another one where you'll get a million compliments because it's just a very simple scent and it just smells good. And like that's all you need to know. And then the next cheapie perfume, this is another perfume that you can get at Target. This is Mix Bar Vanilla Bourbon. This is another really delicious Gourmand scent, obviously again with the vanilla. I know that there's a lot of vanilla happening in this entire video, but I feel like vanilla is like one of the #1 Gourmand notes. So like how could you make a Gourmand video without talking about vanilla? But Vanilla Bourbon is again one of those more complex vanilla perfumes because of that bourbon. That bourbon note just gives the vanilla like this boozy vibe to it, and it makes it super sexy. This perfume smells like a designer perfume to me, disguised in a little like $20 bottle. There is some like high class smell to this perfume. It kind of has like this deep woodiness about it, almost like this like oud vibe slightly in a way. Like it's kind of like spicy. It's extremely intoxicating. It has great performance. Like this will last you a day and a half, and especially for such an affordable fragrance, that is very impressive because you get designer perfumes that are $100 plus that literally barely last an hour. It's compared to a lot of more higher end perfumes. One of the perfumes that it is compared to actually is Vanilla 28 by Kayali, which you guys know not my favorite scent. I guess I sort of get a slight vibe to Vanilla 28, but I prefer this like by a trillion times. It kind of also smells like By the Fireplace by Replica because it has not really a smoky vibe, but because this has sandalwood in it, it kind of has like this, I don't know, like burnt sort of vibe almost to it, like Bonfire Bash from Bath and Body Works, where it doesn't smell exactly like smoke, but there's something about that vanilla that's just a little spicy that kind of almost imitates that sort of vibe, if that makes sense. It's not anything intense or anything like that. It's just a really intoxicating boozy vanilla scent. And then the next perfume I have is Gold Couture by Juicy Couture, which I feel like I haven't talked about this perfume in a minute, but I do use it here and there, and I love this perfume. Like, let me just say, as much as Juicy Couture is kind of one of those brands where a lot of perfume snobs will look at and be like, oh, that's like a juvenile, like we don't use that type of thing, I still feel like Juicy Couture scents are like one of the best, and honestly like one of my most complimented perfumes ever. Like, I could have on a niche $300 plus perfume and I will still be complimented on my Juicy Coutures, because these are just the perfumes that smell the best. Like, they really do. And even though I feel like most of Juicy Couture perfumes are like gourmand because they are really, really sweet, I feel like Gold Couture is probably the best gourmand because it's kind of like the most sweet. You get caramel in here, you get vanilla, you get amber. It's kind of like this creamy, ooey gooey, caramelly deliciousness, but it has also that Juicy Couture DNA in it. Like, it has that Viva La Juicy vibe in it still, definitely there 100%. But think of Viva La Juicy basically just being more sweet, like even more sweet than it is, and more like just add like the caramel note. And that's basically the only difference, because I still majorly smell the Viva La Juicy DNA in here. It's just a tad bit like sweeter and maybe a little bit creamier and maybe a little bit more dense, and that's about it. This is a really good one, kind of a classic, but you can never go wrong with a classic. So I still recommend this as just a really, really good gourmand scent. I will say, doesn't really have the best performance. There's ways that you can tweak the performance though. You can put on some like Vaseline and let it stick to you a little bit better. So there's ways you can tweak that, but I just want to let you guys know, doesn't have the best performance, but that kind of goes with like a lot of Juicy Couture scents, I feel like. But anyways, other than that, the scent, it's great. So we are down to the last two perfumes of this video. The second to last is Jimmy Choo Illicit. I literally freaked out when I found this perfume. I blind bought it, and it ended up being like one of my favorite perfumes ever because it's the epitome of everything I love. It is super gourmand, very sweet. It kind of reminds me of like kind of a more of a wearable version of Scandale by Jean Paul Gaultier, which I showed earlier, because this also has honey in it. It also has like this caramelly scent, but it's not to the level of Scandale, okay? Like, it's still very strong and it still has great performance and all of that, but it's a little bit more wearable. And with this one, you don't have to just scrimp and just do those two little sprays and that's it. With this one, you could wear a little bit more. It's still strong, but nothing competes with the strength of Scandale. I would say that the scent of the two are kind of the same. This one does have a little bit more notes that kind of play a factor into this, a little bit more than Scandale, which basically just straight up smells like honey. So along with that honey in here, I do also smell the amber, I do also smell the caramel in here, I smell that vanilla, I do get the sandalwood and cashmere wood sort of like woody vibe that this has. Tiny bit of that jasmine sambac, like definitely has this hint of like this sexy feminine floral vibe. And then it also is a little bit spicy just because of that ginger. So that's kind of how I would describe this, but it is such a good scent, very gourmand, and because it has been discontinued, you could find this for a really good price. I found this at, I think, a TJ Maxx, and I've seen it actually recently at like Ross's and Burlington kind of floating around, and it's like $30 to $40, which for a designer scent that smells amazing, that is like a steal. So I highly recommend this if you see it there, or I will try to find like the most inexpensive price of this online and it'll be linked down below, but I highly recommend Jimmy Choo Illicit. And then the very last perfume of this video, I actually have three perfumes kind of combined into one because they're all flankers of one another and they kind of smell the same, but I'm just gonna talk about all three. So of course, of course, the one and only. I know you don't want to hear about this because, you know, it's very talked about, but this is a Gourmand video, and these are like the queen of Gourmand perfumes. I feel like specifically this, which is the OG of all three, which is the original Pink Sugar. I literally found out about this scent, which is kind of funny, because of Ariana Grande, like years ago when she made that video. I don't even know how long ago she made that video, but she did like this "What's in My Bag?" I think it was when she was still on like Victorious, and she pulled this out of her bag, and I'm like, oh, I want that perfume because Ariana Grande has that perfume. And my parents got it for me and I loved it. I cherished it. It's one of my first perfumes that I ever really owned, and honestly kind of like what got me into loving Gourmand, sweet, delicious, like very girly girl type of scents, because that is what this is. Pink Sugar literally smells like pink sugar. That is the perfect name for it because it smells so feminine, like such a girly girl type of scent, so pink, but it literally is sugar. It's like burnt sugar, cotton candy, and that's pretty much it. Like there's other notes in it, but like who cares, because literally it's just cotton candy in a bottle. And I also wanted to talk about these two, which these are flankers. They have other flankers of Pink Sugar, but I feel like these are like some of the best, and they still both smell like the original Pink Sugar, but they do have like variations to them. So Berry Blast basically smells like exactly what it sounds like. So it's basically Pink Sugar with a little bit of like this blueberry, blackberry sort of berry tone added to them. So it's like basically blueberry cotton candy. Think of it like that. And then this one, Red Velvet, is actually one of my favorite Pink Sugars. Red Velvet, again, smells a lot like Pink Sugar, like very burnt sugar. But it also has this like even more of a gourmand scent to it, like edible, like almost like Red Velvet is a really good name because it has like this doughy, almost like cake batter sort of scent mixed into that cotton candy vibe. So those are all three of the Pink Sugars that I'm recommending for this Gourmand video, and that concludes this video. So I hope you guys liked my recommendations. I always get comments to do this video because you guys know my huge love for Gourmand perfumes. So obviously I have these perfumes in my collection, and they're some of my favorite perfumes ever. I do have other perfumes in my collection that are very gourmand, but I feel like these are like the most gourmand, if that makes any sense. So I wanted to focus on this just so that this video wouldn't be like a top 25, because it very easily could have been. If you guys have any recommendations for some amazing gourmand perfumes, definitely leave them in the comments so I can pick those up and review them and talk about them and love them myself. But that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!